The electrical portion of the list is getting pretty short. In fact, I just have one item left, the front signals. This kind of looks like a yard sale because it pretty much is. I've picked up these at multiple swap meets and different places online. Some of them are original, some of them are reproduction. Okay, so my job is to take all these signal parts that I have and try to cobble them together into something that I can use. I'm not really a stickler for authenticity on this car. My 356, I definitely am. But on this car, I'm just trying to sort of do the bare minimum to meet the traffic laws and to make it look halfway decent. I remember dropping this one when I was fitting it in and out of the car 100 times when I was doing all the metal work to get the backdate done for the front fenders. So it served its purpose. Unfortunately, I did crack it. And one thing I'm noticing right away is that this little metal plate looks like it goes right here. And this is towards the front of the car. I'm not sure if it goes... Yeah, it must go this way. So these might be some kind of city lights. I'm not exactly sure on what these lights are for. Clearly, I'm mostly after the turn signals, which I think are these. This one here is one of the reproduction ones. It does have a plate kind of taped on there. Looks like someone's either broken off the rivets or done something to it. This one is an original. It looks like it has the little pegs here, but it doesn't have the plate. This one has like a giant hole here. It looks like it's, I don't know if that's been drilled or it's, yeah, probably been drilled. And then there's this side. I have to use this side. This one has the metal plate intact, and it's got some little push rivets on the back there, or push plates, holds it in place. So this one I have to use because this one is for, let's see, this is the passenger side. And all three of these are for the driver's side. The one interesting thing about this plate, even though it's present, it doesn't have the bulb like this one has. This one has a little socket and a small bulb. This basically just blocks it off. Looks like someone's done some beating on this one. This flange here is pretty bent up, and then it's actually cracked to the point right here. Okay, I'm putting these side by side. The curvature, at least here, looks pretty good. I don't see any discrepancies in the curvature. There's a little bit of a dip on this one, but I've noticed that on several of these before. It's a tiny little dip right there. This one's not dipped as bad, but this one's an original. So the shape of both of these look pretty good. So this original Bosch lens screws right into this reproduction piece. So it looks like I'm going to go with this one for the passenger side, and then this one for the driver's side. This is the heavy-duty wax and grease remover, and before sanding, it's typically a good idea to get as much of the grease and grime off of this. So when you sand it, you're not sanding it into the paint, because I want to paint over it. Putting a little sandpaper on my Bondo spreader just to get in these tight areas. So a little bit of corrosion and kind of loose paint down here in the corner, so I just dug it out with the Dremel. Now we'll sand that part smooth too. I'm going to take a break and go sit outside and sand this in a chair. I'll be right back. It's like 100 degrees in here. Almost done. I'm now switching to the red Scotch-Brite to get some of these lettered areas. I don't want to just sand off the markings on here. If you haven't noticed, I really don't like sandblasting that much. This would have been an item that I think a lot of people would sandblast. But you're actually just putting more texture in, and then you got to fill it with primer, sand it. It's just, in my opinion, it's more work. I think if you want a smooth finish, you might as well use the finish that's already here to help smooth it. I just hung this up and got both sides. So I'm gonna let this dry probably overnight. And now I'm working on the other side, and the bulb receptacle, you know, this is a reproduction. The bulb receptacle is a little tight. I mean, I can get the bulb in kind of from the back side, but I think it just got a little too much paint or plating on the interior hole there. So I gotta get some tools to open that up so I can at least get the bulb in. I guess this is a little too big, but maybe that was enough, I don't know. Yeah, it's better, but still it's just a little too tight. It doesn't need to be that tight. Last thing you want to do is break a bulb off in there. So let me get a different diameter tool here. Let's try this one. Okay, that feels good. Goes right in there. And then this one over here also looks like it needs a little bit of work. But it looks like this is the right bulb for this spot, but it will not go in. Same problem. Okay, that goes in now. It looks like it goes in and then we'll turn to keep it in place. And then there'll be some spring pressure on the electric tabs on the back. So let's work on that now. Okay, that seems pretty straightforward. Let's see how it works with the bulbs in place. Just put it on this one. Now it's got two contacts here. It's weird because this bulb only has one prong. Just going to pull apart this original one and see how they differ. All right, this one has two prongs too. So side by side, you can really see these are pretty close to the same thing. I don't think these wire colors are the correct colors, but I might be able to overlook that just to get this thing going. Okay, that does go in. Push and turn. That's good. Okay, that lights up both of them. That's the red wire. And the green-yellow wire lights up both of them too. Okay, I just did some research and I did determine that I am supposed to have a dual filament bulb here, at least for the US version. So because I don't have the Euro version, which has the light over here, the Euro version has a single filament bulb, and then it has a bulb, another light over here. But the US version, which these pickups are, have a dual filament bulb and no light over here. So I think my lenses might actually be European lenses. So at some point in the future, I will probably, go ahead and add the bulb over here, but I'm not going to be concerned with it right now. So I need to use this guy that's super dirty. I'm going to try to pull the little dust seal out the back so I can degrease this thing. There's lots of dirt. This is a pointy tool, but I'm kind of using the side of it. Yeah, this looks better. It was cleaned with pure elbow grease pretty much. I just got all the paint off of it. I'm going to put the seal back in the back side, but this thing is looking pretty good. It's a little bit yellow. I did check. These wire colors are all wrong. It should be brown. It should be, I think it's white, no, black, white, and then it should be gray, red. Yeah, I've located the wire harness for the front headlights and the front turn signals. Yeah, this one got a little bit of heat damage, it looks like, on like this wire in particular. I think this is the solid yellow. This is for the headlights. And it just feels stiff, it feels brittle, and I can see that it's probably been overheated. So that's unfortunate that I'm probably gonna have to replace at least a few of the wires in this harness. Luckily, it's a short little guy, and I probably want to redo this harness anyways to put in some headlight relays. I like to put the headlight relays in the bucket so it's a little bit cleaner. So this will be put in temporarily to get the turn signals working, but long term, probably going to make my own custom harness for the front. These are the wires that are concerned with the turn signals and the brake lights. So I have the left and right. This is directed towards the rear of the car. These are not fused. The ones on the bottom, the front of the car, are fused. It's the same color from top to bottom. So this is the black green and this is the black white. So these are in the correct positions now, and that power gets routed up through this harness, goes out to the headlight here, and then for the other one it comes around. There is a ground down here which I need to take some paint off and attach that, and then it goes underneath here. I actually routed it underneath this bracket for the hood latch. I think it's a straighter shot. I think that's how it's supposed to be. There are little metal clips underneath here, and then it exits out this side. Okay, several of these wires that are still not connected from this harness I just put in for the front, these are for the headlights, and it's not safe to connect them right now because those wires are not in good shape. So I will not use the headlights for the time being. I know that I need to come back and restore this harness a little bit better. I found the grommet for this side, so I'm gonna snake each of these wires through here individually. Same thing for this grommet. I'm just gonna put a little bit of the oil on there. This one's in great shape. It actually probably doesn't need to be replaced. There we go. I'm using two different size hole saws to get the bulk of the paint off. This epoxy primer is really tough. I got to clean metal. It's actually really nice of Porsche. They brazed a brass washer on there so that it won't corrode. There we go. You can see a little bit of paint carnage down there. If you're going to scratch the paint, you want to do it on the ground stud. Okay, once the wires go through the body right there, they come up into the headlight bucket. So I put it through this hole right here. It's going to need a grommet. And then the turn signal housing is going to have its wires come through one of those holes too. Then there's a junction. I think it's this wire right here. It's the white black. That's going to connect to the turn signals, which would be the red wire. Here's how it looks with the divider. See the little nut plates on the back, or the push buttons on the back. This is the right bulb. There's the right bulb in there. And then if we flip it, you can see there's the housing kind of cleaned up. The only thing that's missing now is there's supposed to be these little reflector clips right here hold a little reflector panel. It goes down in that corner. This gets like a diffuser reflector piece. That I don't have, so that's something I either need to look for or maybe make up with some generic reflector panels. I'll do a light check on the second one. And the red is the bright one. So these are good to go. I'm going to crimp a terminal on the end just like the factory ones were, at least for the red wire, because that's the blinker. If you're doing any kind of electrical work on your harness, you basically need this tool. This is a ratcheting style crimper for open barrels. And if you look really closely, it does a great job of curling the barrel right into the wire. So this is very, very secure. Very, very similar to what the factory had here. You see those coiled rings? That's what you want. So what I do on these, this is just the loose open barrel. I've already determined which size it needs. And I just get it set up in the tool. Just a little bit of pressure and it holds it there for you. And then I just put the wire in. Do it, if I can do it this way. The wire goes in as far as it can go. And then you just squeeze the heck out of it. And it takes a lot of force. And then this tool is to the point where it won't squeeze anymore. It releases its own ratchet and then it's done. Then you do the same thing for the insulation. There's another size on the tool that you use for the insulation part. In my case, it's labeled, I think it's labeled B. Use that one. Go till it releases, and you're done. I'm not going to do the black wire yet because I think this might get a ring terminal. I'm not sure. Okay, these are the seals that go on the outside. These are from URO. And then these are the lenses too, also from URO. Reproduction, but very nice quality. Oh, you know what? These are for the rear. Let me see if I have the fronts. Okay, never mind. I still need to order the fronts. I don't have them yet. So I'm just going to put these together, temporarily without the seals, and then I'll get them put on. Let me go ahead and take this off. I'm not going to cinch these down very tight because I don't want to scratch the back of the lenses. But just to give you the full idea of how this looks all lit up. Front signals off the list.